All right, so here we are with week 15. And this week we are introducing another vowel sound. So we have our vowel team OO again, but this one is OO as in like in look. Last week we talked about OO that says ooh, like in soon. So talking to your students about the difference between the ooh and the and it just comes down to word recognition. So it's just going to be practice, practice, practice with those words and those sounds. I did want to mention that we have moved out of our kindergarten review, which is what most of the first 9 weeks was as far as phonics and math skills. And we're now moving on to first grade skills. So the skills they are learning now are more complicated, and they're going to take a lot of practice and a lot of repetition to retain. So the spelling words and the spelling lists are with skills from the previous week normally, or skills that we've learned previously all together. And practicing that spelling words every night is super important. That helps them remember the new skills and practice the new skills. They're not going to be able to just sound these words out as easy as they were with the CVC words or the kindergarten skills that we had learned up until this point. So we've really started to introduce some new skills with these vowel teams and these split vowel teams, like a split vowel digraph, with our long vowel sounds. So really work hard on those spelling words during the week so that that's reflective on their spelling tests, because these new skills are something that they're going to have to practice lots. We practice here in class, we go over our spelling words every day, but doing them at home is also going to help them retain that and to remember that when they hear a word like hike, that I sound has to have an E at the end of the word. It can't be H-I-K. So there's a lot of, we had a hard time with last week's spelling test, so I just wanted to make sure that I reiterated how important it is to be doing spelling practice at home to reinforce those phonics skills there as well. Also, our tricky words. So I'm going to have a list of tricky words that I'm going to send home. These are ones that if you can read through them, doesn't take long. Just read through them every night. And even if you say it with them and as you look at the word, they'll begin to be able to recognize those just by sight and be able to read those words quickly, which makes their reading fluency so much better and their accuracy increases as well. So working on those tricky words at home is also really good for them as far as retention goes. We're also beginning to write narratives this week, so they're going to be able to retell a story and write it. So talking about every time you read their AR book at home or any book you read at home, if you can kind of ask them questions at the end, well, what happened? Who is the character in our story? What happened first? Well, then what happened next? What happened at the end? Where does the story take place? Those things are really important details for them to be able to pull out of a story, not only for comprehension, but to be able to retell the story or to write a summary or a narrative on it as well. That's how we'll start writing our narratives, is from a story to give them a guideline, and then we'll move on to where they can write a narrative on their own with just a prompt. But that'll be a while from now. In math, we're talking about add-ins. So we're doing 3 add-ins. An add-in is just a part that we're using to add together to get a whole number. And so that whole number is going to be 10. So we're using 3 add-ins to make 10. This week, we may be looking at breaking up 9 and using 9 and 1 to make 10. Just check that homework book that I sent home. We're going to be starting on lesson 3 today, and we'll work through to lesson 7 or 8 this week. It'll just depend on time. But doing that homework at home for the lessons is also really important. Again, it reinforces it there. Thursday, we do have a math test. So again, that homework in the book, we started module 2, which is what was sent home, and we're working from 1 through about 7. The math test will be about 1 through 4, and some probably review from module 1. We will have our spelling test, our phonics test, and our grammar test this Friday. The grammar test will be an oral reading, so I'll give them a passage to read and they read it, and however, they need to be able to read at least 20 words per minute right now. They rocked it. They did so good last fluency test. So I'm not worried about it. But again, just reading at home out loud, it helps them with that fluency. Those tricky words are huge for that as well. And then again, knowing those phonics skills, because when they see them, they should be able to read them. And the phonics test, I'll send home some words that they'll have to spell using our phonics skills, and then some words that they'll want to be able to match. You've seen a couple phonics tests now, so we'll want to be able to match sounds to words, and then they're also now being asked to read phrases and match that phrase to a picture. Using those phonics skills to decode those words, to read it, and then match it to understanding what it says and matching it to a picture. And they'll be able to, they'll need to be able to read tricky words, and they'll need to be able to give a sound provided from a letter or a digraph or a blend, that kind of a thing. I think that's it for this week. We're also going to talk about turkeys some, so be ready to learn all about turkeys this week. And if you need anything, just let me know. Thanks.